Hope you're as excited as I am to review the fall season. Some of the overall results will floor you, but we promise to bring you all of the best hits. Yes, these are wow moments. So celebrate the fall season with us. Sports Night is next.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Sports Night. I'm Joe Young.
And I'm Howie Shapiro. And it really was a phenomenal sports season for the fall sports year in 2019. Just a lot of good things that came of it, a lot of highlights, and a lot of good things for the future.
Yeah, a lot of fun to watch and be a part of. Possibly the most successful fall sports season that we've seen in 20 years of doing Sports Night. Top to bottom, I mean, everybody made some sort of strides.
I thought about that, too, this weekend, and what a good season it was. And I couldn't remember how far back, as we've been going for a long time, since we were both 15, how long ago that has a season like this. It's been a while.
It's been definitely been a while, top to bottom, like I said. Little to catch up on with the girls hockey team already into their season. Week 2 went good and bad. Maple Grove, they couldn't score against the Crimson, but Elia Johnson did a heck of a job keeping them in that contest, make 36 saves, just unable to find the back of the net. They did get 19 shots on goal, but come up losing 2-0. They bounced back, though, with a 2-0 win. Elia Johnson, 15 saves to get the shutout. Molly Terabeza continues to have a hot start to her sophomore season. Kylie Scott netted an empty net goal late in the game. Shaq and Johnson getting assists for the Bluebirds, who moved to 2-2. They're at Rogers on Tuesday. They will host Buffalo at the Forum on Saturday. And Howie, I will be there.
Yes, you will be there. Yes, you
As will the CTN cameras.
Correct.
We should have a lot of fun. But a lot to talk about, obviously, as we mentioned, fall sports. Very successful top to bottom.
They really have. And, we'll start, obviously, with football. But, I mean, there's so many other programs that had such a good year that you're right. This makes a fun show to be able to talk about all the successes.
Well, what more can we say about this football team that we haven't said over the past few weeks? They made a historic run, and we were just glad to be along for the ride. Cardinals defied the odds, overcame a number of injuries, and inspired the community with their drive to the state semifinals. It's a fantastic story of overcoming adversity and exceeding everybody's expectations except their own. The Cardinals started the season with their third head coach in 4 years. Nick Russin brought a lot of positive energy to the team, but he also inherited a group that was ready to do something special. Looks to his left, now chased, and in trouble. Ball comes out, Cardinals scoop it up. They had a great group of senior leaders, many of whom had played varsity since they were freshmen, so they had first-hand experience with adapting to a new program. After being shut out by St. Thomas Academy in the opener, the Cardinals reeled off 4 straight wins against division opponents. The Cardinals' defense established itself as one of the best in the Metro, and their offense was putting up good numbers every week. Then they were tested. Key injuries to several offensive starters changed their scheme for the final few games, and may have cost them a couple of wins in a division championship. But the focus was on the postseason, and with everyone back healthy, they made a remarkable run. They blew past St. Francis 40-0 in the section semis, and after seeing their 14-point lead disappear in the fourth quarter of the title game, they came back to beat Andover. Finley's field goal in the final minute gave the Cardinals a 17-14 victory, their first section title since 1983.
The captains and head coach from Coon Rapids, please step forward to receive your championship trophy.
Cardinals got division rival Spring Lake Park in the state quarterfinals, a team they beat 23-14 in Week 3. The Panthers hadn't lost since, but their streak was about to end. Hit in the backfield is Dunbar and then dropped for a loss. David Jeebley the one to wrap him up and take him down. The Cardinals defense didn't give up a point, and the Cardinals got rushing touchdowns from David Jeebley and Jake Van Holzen to win 14-2 and advance to the semifinal round at US Bank Stadium. Unfortunately, the Cardinals gave up a couple of big plays early against Chaska and got into a hole too deep to dig out of. They tried to bounce back in the second half and found the end zone a couple of times, but their season ended with a 34-14 loss. And he is into the end zone for a touchdown. The Cardinals are on the board. The Cardinals' success is a credit to that senior class. to have persevered through so many changes during their high school careers and maintain focus when the injuries hit this season, and to drive all the way to the bank. It sets the bar pretty high for the guys who are coming back.
Left now throws, passes, picked off by the Cardinals. Antonio Manos back the other way down the sideline with help.
There are 25 total seniors, including many of their top playmakers on both offense and defense. The Cardinals will lose quarterback Jake Van Holzen, who had a great season both running and throwing the ball. They'll also lose a lot of key pieces on defense, including Miles Taylor, who was named to the state All-Star game. Jordan Nolan, Ty King, Ryan Corey, Shai Williams, and Joseph Tarnu, just to name a few, all started every game, so more than half of their defense will graduate. Obviously, they'll still have a lot of good athletes returning, and they hope that success is contagious and they can live up to the legacy this group leaves behind.
It is a large and talented group. Cedillo, Shannon, Williams, Taylor, Van Holzen, Tarnu, Nolan, DeGogo, Morange, Corey, Sawaki, Garlick, Findlay. We're not done. Ty King, Charles Greaves, Miles Gilliard, Malik Singer, Eric Ramos, Andre Campbell, Ammon, Hall, Corey again, Tulsi, Chance Alexander, and TJ Hawkins. The last a couple more of those big fellas up front that really the Cardinals lines, both sides, didn't get enough credit. The defensive line probably did. The offensive line did a great job this year.
They held up really well, and you look at that list of seniors, and it's some incredible young men and some incredible athletes, and certainly this program is going to miss that. And so it's going to be a big test for them to rebuild. Well, I'm going to say it's going to be a rebuild, but it really is, because you've got to be able to bring some of those younger players up, and I think that you look at the program and you say the success hopefully looks at other kids, say, I want to play football too, because look what these kids did. I want to do the same thing.
That is the hope. They will have a lot of pieces back, but they will be definitely tested come 2020.
They will. Well, the tennis team is another Cardinals program that had great success this season, and it led to a well-deserved honor for the man in charge. At the beginning of the season, even Coach Stork didn't know what the team was capable of. He knew they had talent, but they exceeded just about every expectation.
The Cardinals started the season incredibly strong. Not only did they win their first 4 matches, but all of them were decided by just 1 point. This team's ability to win close meets made this the memorable season it was, and the Cardinals did it up and down the lineup. Several of their meets came down to one last point, and different girls stepped up each time to make sure the Cardinals got that last critical team point. The Cardinals went 14-3 in the regular season, including a 6-1 record in meets that ended in 4-3. It prepared them perfectly for the playoffs. They opened the section tournament with a 4-3 win over Anoka, but unfortunately came up on the wrong end of a 4-3 score against a very good Delano team. The Cardinals also had success in individual sections, with just about everyone getting at least one win, and the doubles team of Grace Hanula and Caitlin Severson made it all the way to the quarterfinals. The Cardinals' success led to Scott Stork being named Section Coach of the Year, but the real test will come when the squad returns to the courts next fall. This team had a very solid senior core. There were 9 total on the roster, and there were matches when 7 of the 10 on the courts were the class of 2020. They have a couple of girls that played in some of the top spots coming back, which will help, but they'll lose a lot. It'll be interesting to see if the Cardinals will be able to answer the challenge and achieve even greater things next fall.
Again, a talented group that is leaving the program. Emma Newton, Grace Hanula, Kayla Jones, Sophia Murillo, Alyssa Ross, Anna Bezcalo, Anna Samet, Chloe Winkler, and Emma Bolin. A fair chunk of the 10 that they put on the court every night will be hard to replace. It was so much fun because right from the start, they got off to that great run.
Huge.
They were off to like a 6 or 8-1 start, and they had like already 5 of those wins in 4-3 contests, which is So many times we've seen teams on the other side of it, and to see them on the winning side of that was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it really was a lot of fun, and Coach Stork, obviously a well-deserved honor, put together a really solid squad, and you talked about the fact that they're going to lose some players, quite obviously, but I think this is a kind of sport where some of the younger players can continue to work on their game, and especially during the summer months, and continue to feed this talent into the tennis program.
Well, exceeding expectations, kind of a trend for fall sports at Coon Rapids, and the volleyball team was definitely on board. Cardinals had their most successful season in a decade, and with talent they'll have coming back, this might be just the beginning.
The Cardinals season started with the typical optimism and enthusiasm, but they showed early on that the talk about their potential was more than just words. While they were young, they already had a lot of varsity experience, and many of the girls play volleyball year-round, and all of them were committed to taking this program to the next level.
Oh, what a get.
The Cardinals opened the season with a long homestand, and it helped them fuel a strong start. They swept White Bear Lake in the opener and got a couple more wins in the Keller Classic, so they were 3-5 before they ever hit the road.
Here comes Masteller, and she'll finish it.
They had to endure some long skids in the middle of the season, but they dealt with the adversity and came out stronger on the other end. A great run at the Jefferson tournament helped them finish the regular season with 5 straight wins, and they secured a home match to start the postseason. The Cardinals swept Orono in the first round of the sections and got to celebrate a playoff win on their home court. It's a great feeling, and one these Cardinals hope to make a lot less rare at Roger E. Carlson. Their quarterfinal loss to top-seeded Wayzata only ended the career of 3 Cardinals. While their seniors will be missed, the Cardinals will return their top 5 in almost every statistical category. It should lead to a very exciting season in 2020.
There are those 3 seniors, Peyton Shevchuk, the libero all season, Grace Henneman, and Naya Sanchez-Fernandez. What they have coming back is very exciting. I mean, I've got some of the stats here. I mean, Masteller, Wilbur, Post, Bresnahan, top 4 on the team in kills. Anderson, Wilbur, Masteller, Shevchuk makes the top 5 in aces, but outside of that, everybody's coming back.
Well, yeah, the expectations not only for themselves,
and
but
up front, they've got 3 girls who are dominant forces in 6 foot, couple of 6-footers.
Exactly, and so what I'm getting to, the point is their expectations for themselves are going to be higher coming into next year because they did have that season, and I think that their place in the conference, their expectations will be a little bit higher. So it will be a lot of fun to see how they can improve on this fine season,
and to see the different reaction they might receive, especially when they go on the road.
Exactly. Well, what the football team did this season got most of the attention. What Megan Schultz did this year was equally, if not more, impressive. The junior swimmer now owns every swim record in school history. But what's more exciting on the pool deck is that Schultz wasn't alone at state, and their supporting cast behind her is making the Cardinals a better team.
It's impossible to talk about this Cardinals team without talking about Megan Schultz. She set 5 school records as a sophomore and started her junior campaign by setting 2 more in the first dual meet of the year, including a conference record in the 200 free. But Schultz couldn't put her name on the board for all 11 swimming events by herself. Obviously, the 3 relay events require more swimmers putting up great times. Fortunately for Schultz and the Cardinals, their depth made it possible. It also improved their positioning as a team. The Cardinals scored wins over Park Center and Osseo and had really close meets with Anoka and Blaine. They also placed better in all of their tournaments, including a 2nd place finish at St. Peter and a 3rd place finish in the Panther Invite. For the 2nd year in a row, the Cardinals kept themselves out of the tri-meet at the bottom of the standings for the Northwest Suburban Conference. And while they lost to Rogers in the 9th place meet, it's a step in the right direction. The Cardinals 200 medley relay team set the school record at the section tournament, securing the final record for Schultz. And for the 3rd year in a row, she qualified for state in both the 100 butterfly and the 100 breaststroke. But for the first time, she had company. Sophomore Ella Hacker took 3rd in the 100 fly at sections, but had a state qualifying time. Hacker finished 12th, while Schultz was in the final in both of her events, taking 5th in the butterfly and 7th in the breaststroke. Both will be back in 2020, and they have a lot of other talented athletes back as well. The Cardinals lose only 3 seniors to graduation.
And there they are, Aubrey Zerlback, Jadlyn Mikulowski, and Tamala King. So great to see Schultz. I mean, all season I was waiting for that last record to fall.
Yep.
Had to wait till sections, but such a cool thing. I mean, she set 4 or 5 last year, including one of the relays, and then right away got a couple more to start this season. So very exciting to see. And then to see her have company at state. Ella Hacker making it was fantastic. But a number of the other girls, most of whom will be back, made great strides this season, and they definitely have room to continue to move on.
Well, and that's the key too. They progressed each and every time they took the pool, and they bettered their times, each meet after each meet, and I think that really bodes well for them for next season as well. But plus, you're getting so much talent back that there's a lot of expectations on them as well. And so, again, this is an opportunity for Coach Donaldson to grow his program, and hopefully we'll see that as well.
Well, as we continue to talk about, every program at Coon Rapids made big strides this fall, and that definitely includes both of the cross-country teams. They didn't win a championship or get a lot of media hype and exposure, but they went to work and it paid off. Both boys and girls can be proud of the seasons they turned in.
All great stories have to start somewhere, and for the girls cross-country team, they're hoping 2019 was just chapter 1. When the season began, they only had a dozen athletes on the roster, but the girls who were there were committed to getting better. Despite their limited depth and experience, the Cardinals competed hard all season, and at the end, they were all turning in personal or season best times. They finished 13th of 14 teams in the Northwest Suburban Meet and were 13th of 16 at sections. The Cardinals really hope to get some more girls on the course next season, and fortunately, they'll have almost their entire roster back. They only lose 2 seniors, and everyone else showed great improvements this year, so the future should be bright. On the flip side, the boys had their best season in a long time, and they did it as a team. It's no secret that running in groups does great things for a team score, and when your top 5 can all finish together, well, good things happen. The boys knew from the start of practices this fall they had a chance to do something this year. They returned a lot of experience and a group at the top that were all ready to push each other every step of the way. It took a few races before they got everybody on the same pace, but when they did, it was pretty cool to see them finish. The Cardinals had some of their best finishes at the biggest events. They were middle of the pack at the Bauman Roman Invite and the Malacca Mega Meet, but they finished 4th place at the Thundering Royal Elk Invite, and they were 12th out of 62 teams at the Roy Griak Invitational. The Cardinals' top 5 finished within 22 seconds of one another at the Northwest Suburban Meet, helping the team take 3rd. The top 3 earned all conference, the other 2 honorable mention. Similar results at sections, Cardinals battled a sloppy course as a team and arrived at the finish line together. Top 5 were separated by just 31 seconds, helping them take 4th place, and all 7 varsity runners finished under 18 minutes for the 2nd year in a row. The Cardinals will lose 3 of those top 7, but there are more ready to take their places. Of the 36 Coon Rapids runners at the section meet, both boys and girls, 20 recorded personal bests and another 11 had season bests. So there's plenty of hope for the future of both of these programs.
That boys team, a lot of fun to watch. They will lose a lot. Noah Christensen, Isaac Johnson, Dennis Long, AJ Powley, Michael Smith, and Reed Smith, Jihong Sun, and Nico Tweedy, the 8 seniors. On the girls' side, just Sarah Eichstad and Rebecca Weimholt, both great leaders for this program for several seasons, finally completing their run, so to speak, in high school. But a lot coming back, and that was the team at the beginning of the year they were hoping would grow. It did a little bit. The girls within the program definitely showed progress and were running stronger times at the end of the year. And the boys, I mean, how cool is that? 2 years in a row. 2 years in a row that the top 5 all finish under 18 minutes. That's a great accomplishment in itself. But to have 5 guys at the section meet finishing within 30 seconds of each other and at the conference meet, that's amazing.
That just goes shows you what the hard work has paid off for them. Obviously, they're losing 3 of their top 7 runners, so that's somebody you have to replace. But I mean, again, this is a program where they've got some younger athletes that will step up. And as far as the girls, they were maybe didn't finish with the quality season that they would have liked, but the fact that they increased their decreased their times and had better times as the season went on, that's important.
Yeah, and the boys team, fortunately, has a little bit healthier numbers, so they will have guys ready to step up and take those roles.
Well, the boys soccer team wasn't as successful as they had hoped, but the Cardinals did make progress in year 2 under coach Armando Oster. The Cardinals had a better season than their record shows, but the program will be hard-pressed to maintain momentum, as this was a very senior-dominated roster.
The boys soccer team doubled its win total from 2018, but that still meant just a 4-11-1 regular season. While their defense kept them in most games this year, they averaged just 2 goals per game. The Cardinals scored 3 of their wins in a 5-day period in mid-September. All were against conference rivals, 2-1 wins over Spring Lake Park and Osseo, and an especially sweet 3-1 victory over the Bengals. Their final win came in the regular season finale, a 12-1 blowout over St. Paul Johnson. That game accounted for 37% of the Cardinals' goals this year. More than that, 23 of their 32 goals were scored by 3 guys, and they're all seniors.
Begich steps into it and easy score.
The Cardinals will have a handful of guys coming back that showed promise this year and got some great experience. After those top 3 guys, their next 2 scorers are both sophomores. They will also return their goaltender and most of their top defenders. This will be a big offseason for the younger Cardinals. They need to develop more offensive production if they hope to continue to move this program forward. They should be strong on the back end again in 2020, but if they can't net more than just 2 goals a game, it'll be hard to win more than 4.
There are all of those seniors, a lot of those names that we have seen on the field for 2-3 years. I think maybe 1 or 2 of them even got a little bit of. I'm not sure if Begich got on the field as a freshman or not. He may have. Dmitry Tkach, Jared Haida, Mohamed Sadat, Angel Balthazar, Torres, Ahmed Jassim, Jackson DeGreet, Pierre Simmons-Mensah, Wilfred Sato, Ali Abdelrahim, Muhammad Jasanek, and Brandon Dinsmore.
Yeah, definitely they're going to lose a lot, Joe, and a lot of their top players. But I mean, you talked about it. We talked about it in that package, or I talked about it in that package. That they're offensively they have to do a little better job in terms of putting the ball in the back of the net, because they can play really good defense, but if they can't score, they're going to have trouble.
Yeah, their defense was impressive, kept them in almost every game. Except for a handful. But yeah, you have to be able to net the ball. Well, what the girls soccer team did was they went out and they made significant progress this season, from just 1 win a year ago to hosting a section playoff game. And these Cardinals are young and hungry. They had a good group of seniors, but it was their underclassmen who were leading the way, and they should be fun to watch next year and beyond.
The Cardinals wasted no time making a statement that this year would be different. They opened with a 3-1 win at Armstrong, and after a scoreless tie with Irondale, Cardinals beat Anoka 3-1 in their home opener to start the year 2-0-1. Unfortunately, their offense kind of went on hiatus after that. Cardinals lost their next 5 and 8 of the next 9. They finished the regular season winning 3 of the last 4, including a huge 2-1 win over eventual state champion Maple Grove. A victory that showed this team is for real.
Cardinals are on the board!
A respectable 6-9-1 regular season got them a 4th seed in a home game for the sections. Unfortunately, the Tornadoes scored in the opening minute of the quarterfinals and made it hold for the game winner. The Cardinals were shut out for the 8th time this season and lost a 1-0 game for the 5th time. While they didn't have a ton of offense, almost all of their goal scorers are coming back. Junior Peyton Taylor and sophomore Molly Terabeza tied with a team-high 5 goals. There were 9 girls who had multiple goals this season, 1 senior, 1 junior, 7 sophomores, and a freshman. With their offense expected to improve, the Cardinals' defense has already shown its strength. They gave up more than 2 goals only 4 times all season, and that's with a schedule that includes 3 of the 4 state semifinalists. It was a great debut season for Coach John Carrot, and it should be exciting to see what his group can achieve. They have enough talent that the Cardinals could be a legitimate contender for the next couple of seasons.
There are your seniors. Maddie Hedlund, the goaltender, will be probably the most notable loss, but Ava Johnston's been on the back end of that defense for several years, as has Alyssa Maley, Jessica DeLong, Natalie Whitney, Naomi Griffith, and McKenna Moe, the other seniors. But yeah, this is a really exciting group with that with all that scoring coming from your sophomore class. And again, they had some spurts where they just couldn't net the ball. Same problem as the boys. 5 times losing 1-0 games. That's something that you kind of hope will frustrate them throughout the offseason as they play in other leagues throughout the summer, and they come back fired up, ready to not do that again.
When I thought Coach Karen did a nice job in his first season, obviously familiar with the program, but he decided he wanted to coach, wanted to take the reins, and it's perfect. I think it was a perfect fit for him, and I think he did really well with the group that he had, and he will continue to grow this program because I think that they do have the talent to continue to grow. Yeah,
and so you see, top to bottom, all kinds of exciting stuff in the fall. You kind of, again, you go back to, you hope that success is contagious and that the winter sports teams continue, just take it and roll with it and grow it even bigger. Obviously, girls hockey already underway, off to a 2-2 start. Everybody else getting into the season very soon, and we're going to have the previews for most of the sports next week.
Yeah, it should be fun. I mean, obviously, we're going to get an opportunity to see the girls' basketball team here shortly, and that'll be fun, and see under new leadership with Coach Wico, and that'll be a good opportunity for us as well to see them.
Yeah, we're hitting the road for the girls' basketball season opener at Cambridge Isani on Tuesday, live at 7 o'clock. Girls hockey live from the Forum, 7 o'clock on Saturday night as they host the Bison from Buffalo. And the boys' basketball season opener when the Cardinals take on the Blue Jackets from Cambridge Isani at Roger E. Carlson Fieldhouse.
Protect the nest. It's coming up.
It all starts, it all continues, and we want to thank everybody out there for joining us, continuing to support everything we do here at CTN. For the entire crew, including Howie Shapiro, I'm Joe Young, saying good night.